Good afternoon here, everybody. Good to see you. Are you ready to get rid of some chronic pain? I'm going to give you some examples today of things that you can do at home. So, this is our home care for today. Welcome to ELIAN'S Joy. I am Elian Haan. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. I said good afternoon. It's good afternoon here for me. On a weekend, on a beautiful spring weekend, I don't know where you are, or maybe you're looking and watching this show a little bit later. But let me tell you, we're going to have some fun with some really simple exercises today that you can do at home. And I want you to take that in and take that with you because we're not doing enough. And it's all about just a little bit of movement. It doesn't have to be really complicated. We can start this in a simple form, even standing or sitting down. And I'm going to show you that today, how to gain a little bit flexibility and a little bit more strength to feel more secure, have less fear of falling, and just overall feel the agility, feel the strength kicking in a little bit, just overall feel physically a little bit better. Why am I, Elian, making such a big deal out of this? Because that's what I do. I am always connecting mind, body, spirit, and a lot of joy with that mind, body, spirit together to find a way for us to move more, to feel physically better. Put your sexy back on, like we talked about last week. And then from there, just kind of increase a little strength mentally and emotionally. In other words, decrease some anxiety and some stress that we are already dealing with on a daily basis. And that is absolutely the case. Just even yesterday, I saw it again on the news how we are really suffering from a lot of anxiety and stress right now in our world, not just in America where I live, but in the society in general, everywhere in the world. So many things going on that have just depleted us from our overall inner strength that normally kicks in. And there's just so much on top of that that sometimes we just kind of like lose it. And everybody does. And we all have that. But there is some things that you can do for that. And I am specialized in that. So my name is Elian. I'm in my office today, so I'm not taking you on the road. I love to take you on the road, but in my office today at the beautiful practice of Cedar Creek Wellness Group. And this is a really great practice here with a lot of counselors. We have a psychiatric nurse or two. We have people that help with mental health. I am the one that helps with physical and yoga and stretching and physical health and anxiety. And we have a nutritionist here. So we have a great deal going here in town. And also, if you want to find me, you can find a lot of things on YouTube that I do because this and the whole month is about movement. And I'm so excited about today, and I'm even more excited about next week. So tune in next week as well because we're going to talk about not just exercise for the body, but the things that we always forget exercise for the face. And we're going to talk to one of my fellow co hosts next week, Marie Cabis, who is specialized in yoga for the face yoga. I'm so excited about that because we cannot just constantly work our muscles and forget about these, like I forgot about my neck, that kind of thing. So I feel that all the time. I'm like, what? Ah, I see wrinkles. So we have to keep moving. And now I am very expression. I'm very big on expressions with my face. A lot of us do that. But we just have to do some specific movements to even get rid of some of those lines that we don't want. And Marie has the answer to that. So, two great shows coming up ahead today and next week. So, I'm excited about that. Like I said, I'm not a life coach here in my private practice, but I'm also a wellness coach helping people with anxiety and with pain management. And that goes all the way back to my experience with addiction, opioid addiction, trying to get people back into a good physical shape. It goes all the way back to 40 years in the dance aerobic fitness business, right? That I always tell you about because it is wonderful to pay some more attention to movement overall and to what I call well care, healthcare, wellness, right? and go there first to see what we can do ourselves instead of just calling the doctor right away. Now, I love the doctors, and if you have a broken leg, you gotta go. But if there's something that you can do yourself, even if it's simple, and even if it is that much result, even if it's at home, then please do so. I did this as a webinar last week for people that are in the senior range. I call them always just some mature adults, right? People that are a little bit further and are more afraid of falling, have a bigger fear of falling, and people that are losing their balance and are having a hard time getting up. And it's so important to do those little things just for that. So I'm going to explain that to you today. And talking about why we don't do that anymore is just because we are already so busy, and we are so busy trying to do what we need to do in daily life and just prevent, some of the anxiety by doing sometimes the wrong things. That's why I always say hashtag don't take something, go do something. Because if you do something and you get off the couch, you have less time to think. And sometimes we overthink, and sometimes that leads to more depression or even more anxiety because we just kind of like go crazy up here, right? We do that. We kind of get those noodles going and they overthink, and then we just don't get into that healthy space. And we need to be in that healthy space, mentally and emotionally. And sometimes very underutilized overall, but the best thing in the world, exercise, getting outside, doing something helps. Even if it's a hobby, a movement kind of thing, or even if it's something that keeps you busy with your hands, crafting, and more even so, if you are starting to walk or if you're starting to exercise, do it. Because we do have, you know, those little hormones kicking in, right? Happy hormones. And those endorphins are exactly what we need to create a little shield towards, or actually against, the stress and the stuff that is coming to us all the time. So we need to have a little wall, a little stronger inner wall to be able to deal with everything that comes at us. So it's very important that we see that sometimes we just don't have to call the doctor for everything. We can actually do a lot ourselves. And I talk about that so much. We can do it. We just have to kind of pay attention to the smaller stuff. And if we do that, then we can do it at home. You don't always have to do a class or go for an hour to the gym because that is most of the time what I hear, right? Eliana, I love to exercise, but I don't have an hour. And then to go to that yoga class and then an hour up and down there. And then I have to change and I just don't have that. Or I'm so tired if I come home. I don't have that in me. My answer is to get off the couch even if you're home, and even if you're in your PJs, and even if you did change, and if you're sitting down to watch your favorite show or watch a movie, get off the couch and do some of this stuff while you are watching TV and while you're trying to relax. So I get it. We don't always have that time, but everybody can make 10 or 20 minutes, even doing something else, to do some of those interesting, smaller things at home. And if you do that, you're very weaponed. In the first place, you're working proactive. I always talk about that proactive. How we're having to think about what's going to happen 20 years from now. What kind of physical state are we in? Are we just having to sit down or can we keep ourselves healthy physically, right? Getting older. And secondly, what are the implications of that getting older? I mean, we're losing some muscle strength anyway. We might just be more fear of have more fear of falling. We might have less balance. So if we can do little things to keep that and to have that strength and to keep that physical strength going, then and flexibility, of course, then you are in a better you're in better shape for the future, right? Proactive. And so flexibility, super, super important to get those juices flowing and to keep them to flow. I always say if we talk about Tai Chi, if we talk about energy, if we're talking about life force, we have to open up, we have to make room to get those juices flowing. And if we don't, if we sit down all day, our whole skeleton, our bones are just like, it's cramped on top of each other. The muscles around are gonna flex, and the muscles around our hips and lower back are, and then we feel pain because we kind of like obstructed the sciatic nerve to flow, and we feel that kind of pain. So that is not good. And if we have pain, not good, not a good mood. So I'm glad we're here today. I'm going to share some of these things with you, the things that you can do to just kind of have fun with it. And what it does is also whoop, kind of gives you a little sheet for your anxiety, right? We don't want to keep on hang on to that. We want to just do some happy things. And that's why you're with me, ELIAN'S Joy. We're going to bring some joy to the whole thing. And I want you to have joy, fun with it. And I want you to use it also for anxiety, or if you're not in the mood, just kind of like dance with me, put some music on, wake up and do your big stretches, and then you automatically feel a little bit better. I know that because I have that experience. I have many, many, many happy clients and many, many, many years of happy clients and patients that I have worked with where the lower back pain diminished or the lower back pain went away or they could really move a lot better and they became a lot more flexible, or they understood about perfect posture, they understood about balance, and doing that with me, they left with less chronic pain and a lot more confidence, not just putting your sexy on, right, physically, like I talked about last week. And you can see that show on the replay, just click on my name, and on www.winwin women.tv, right? You can see all of us, amazing show hosts, delivering great, great content. But last week I talked about just beating anxiety by doing really good, fun, physical things for yourself, putting your happy stuff on, right? So let's talk today what well care really looks like if you have a good mindset, if you are thinking that you can still kind of push the doctor away, push the medication away, or even some of it, maybe just get rid of it. I've had many patients that got rid of their diabetes medication, or they got rid of their blood sugar medication, or they got rid of their tension medication, right? And so if you feel that maybe that is you, then work with me and try to incorporate this in your daily routine. What does well care look like? Just be slow. You have to be slow and start slow. As a movement specialist, especially when I work with people, when I work with my patients or my clients, I do look at their pain tolerance. And sometimes, most of the time here, I do work with the specialist, or I do work with the counselor, I do work with the medication specialist, right, with the psychiatric nurse practitioner. Because if we do work together, then we have a lot more information about the whole entire shape state of mind body that the patient is in. And nowadays, well care is something that we do approach it from a biopsychosocial point of view. Like, what are you doing? I mean, if you're doing this just with me, or you're in a class with me, but you don't do anything at home, and maybe you drink, or maybe you eat too much, then that is not going to make any sense. And we don't get to that overall mind, body, spirit shape of well-being, of well-care, right? So we have to get informed on everything. That's why I love to work with nutritionists, a dietitian, and just get that grip, information, get that information on what I can do for myself. So it's a little bit more work, my friends. That's usually what I say as well. Hey, it is work. If you do rather want to sit down, uh, right? You have to do the work. So what is it that it looks like? We're going to go from your natural range of motion and we're going to go pain-free. So the results of the exercises are not that you can't walk the next morning, right? You might feel a little bit, you might feel more flexible, you might feel that you can move, you might feel a little bit stronger, but I do not want you to feel that you can't move the next day, because that doesn't make any sense. At this point in time, that is not what well care is. It is just slowly building results. And I always say I have three words for that. Make it a little simple, make it so that it is effective, so that we can get a lot of results in over time, right? So we don't want to have that tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. We want to build up something that is part of our lifestyle. I want you to feel that you can move well. And because you can move well, you can live. And you can do all the daily activities, for instance. Even when we get older, we're going to have to deal with these activities of daily living, right? That means that you have to be able to feed yourself. You have to make dinner. You have to be able to dress and do your hygiene and your toileting all by yourself. And we have to be able to move around. And also, every time you do want to think about our 7 most primal movement types. And if we think about that, they come back in everything. So it's for me so important to make you aware that you have to have that steady gait. You have to be able to walk. You have to be able to pull and to push because we do that, right? Pull and push. And we have to be able to twist. Oh, so important. I can't stop talking about twisting. And we have to be able to bend over and pick something up. And of course, with that, we have to be able to bend our knees and make a lunge or a squat or step out and lunge. And you do that, of course, if you pick something up off the floor, right? So you want to keep that strength in your legs. And that's what we're going to talk about. So bear with me. We're going to do some things together. I'm going to step out a little bit back, and so you can do that with me. And then that way, I'm just going to grab and hold on to a chair. If I have a chair, I feel a lot safer. You can do it anywhere. And if you hold on to the kitchen counter or to a chair, you can practice your balance. And that's what we want to start with. And just to have some fun, let's say that you want to start with just some everyday kind of music, right, to get in the mood a little bit and see how your cardio is. Well, let's do that together. If you are just stepping in place, you don't have to run. You can just step in place and do that and just kind of like increase the tempo a little bit. And sometimes if you are lifting up your arms over your head, then you increase your cardiovascular strength right there, right? Good for your heart. So anytime your arms go over your heart, just keep them a little bit in front of you, but you're stepping and you're moving right here. You can do that for a few minutes and always do something as long as it feels good for you, right? But if you do that, then you immediately feel the results of that. Yes? So you can start with that and just kind of move around a little bit and take a brisk walk in place. So you see what I'm doing? I don't even have to go outside if I don't want to. I can do this in the kitchen. Right. And I can make a really fun touch to it. And you notice, remember this from the days that we were dancing? We would go up, 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 right? Step touch. You can do that. I'm just doing a little cardio fun here, right? Just some simple things that we can do at home. You can do it with me. Anytime you lift your hands over your heart, you are just increasing, right? Feeling the heartbeat going up. Yes. So anything you want to do here with your arms, you are just increasing a little heart rate and you are just working on your cardiovascular stamina, your strength, right? Heart strength, very important. Anything that you want to add on here, anything, right? Just kind of like stepping in place and just dancing and doing fun things to the music. Sometimes you can make a feast step. Remember a feast step? Remember the disco days of the feast step, right? I'm going here, I went out and back, and out and back, and forward and back, and forward and back. Remember the disco days, right? If you remember that, then you know what to do here for that cardiovascular increase, right? We want to make our heart strong and do some walking. And so if you don't have time to go out today, you can't go outside or you can't go run or you can't, maybe you're still on the treadmill and you can still do that. And if you can't do it the treadmill, then do this, right? Just kind of move and use your arms and use your whole body to move around and feel that strength inside and just do it on the music and just start worrying with that. Yes, it's a great feeling. So that was just a little bit of fun. And lots of joy for me because I love that stuff. And I can add on so many things. You can add on a grapevine. Remember the good old grapevine? Remember, here I am with my steps, and I can just add on grapevines with a crossback and a step and a crossback and a step and a crossback, right? And you can move your arms around there again. Yes. So if you are knowing and if you're feeling and if you remember that, then you know that this is very important. Just so important to kind of like have fun and get your noodles going to think, oh my gosh, I am in a happy, good mood. You start your day with that. So it is that simple. We just forgot. We just forgot. If you're dancing while you're vacuuming, yay, kudos, kudos, kudos. But that's the kind of thing that we have to think about. Now we're going to work a little bit on strength for our legs. And why is that so important? Strength for our legs is very important. In the first place, it will support long-term proactive or balance. And that's what I do with my clinic, right? We want to just think proactive. What this really is, what I do is patient-centered care, patient-centered future preventative care. We want to think about what we can do now to just prevent that we are going to need hip operations or that we have major lower back problems or that we constantly have to walk at the clinic around the corner, right? The spinal clinic. So we want to just get a little bit better at the basics. And I'm going to give you the basics for leg strength. So let's say that we're standing here. I'm always having my beautiful old chair. I'm always having a chair around. And I'm just want to just practice standing up straight. Remember we talked about balance so much? Roll your shoulders back, lengthen your body, open your heart to the sky, right? We always talk about that. Now, if I'm just doing simple leg strength, I want to work on the upper legs. So I'm going to pull my core a little bit together, just engage the belly, just pull in the abdomen, and just make simple knee bends. If I'm holding on to something, I can see that my knees are going straight over my feet and my feet are straight under my hips. So I'm standing hip width. I'm standing hip width. I'm always using my abs a little bit and I'm just making simple knee bends. Now you feel with your posture that you're sliding. Remember to relax the shoulders and then I'm sliding with my shoulder blades against the wall behind me. And my abdomen are strong, my abdomen are engaged. That's what I always want to do. I want to just feel my core strength kicking in a little bit to help me with balance and with strength. So simple squats is what we start with. Just whatever you want to call it. Little plies, right? With the knees always straight over your toes. Why is that so important? Because we might sometimes feel that our knees are going a little bit inwards. And we don't want to do that. We want to go straight over our toes, strengthen the inner thigh and strengthen the outer side thigh at the same time. Now, if I lift up, I'm always holding on to something, remember? If I lift up my heels in the knee bend, put them down, straight. So when you're picking up in the squat, your heels, you can practice your balance at the same time. You are strengthening the upper leg. So I'm really feeling those quads work. Yes, I'm going to bend my knees, hold it, lift, the heels off the floor all this time, practicing my posture, lengthening my spine, and still feel that I'm straight against the wall. And then push up. Yes. So bending a couple times, right? Do this as long as you feel comfortable. I don't say 20 or 30 or 40. Practice it for about 30 seconds. But when you get tired, you stop and do something else. Do the next exercise or repeat it later. So bending your toes or bending your knees, and then when you stay in the bend, you can do 10 heel lifts. Right? 10 and I'm just at the same time holding on and practicing my balance. So I'm always close to something so I don't feel that I'm going to fall over. But at the same time, I want to practice that strength. You see? So there's little things that you can do for yourself that have tremendous results. If you are now doing the same thing on one leg, I'm going to lift one leg up to the front. I'm going to keep my hips really straight. Lift one leg up to the front, just a tiny bit for that balance. Just a tiny bit. And now I'm going to just bend that one leg, just my right. And I keep my foot close to the floor. This is really good exercise for strength and for balance. So just on one leg. Now we can be anywhere, right? We can hold on to the barn dome, or we can hold on to the kitchen counter or the dining chair. And if you have something, you always want to hold on to something for that fall risk, right? Just for safety. And that helps if you let go to practice your balance. So simple, very effective. Do it everywhere. Right, at the same time we practice our balance. I'm just lifting my toes off the floor, nothing else. My toe is on the floor in the front so that I can keep my hips steady and straight and lined up, and then I just lift my toe. And then maybe a little higher, right, if you get better at it, or maybe a little swing if you get better at it. This is just your balance and strength on one leg practice. So this one is strengthening. And I'm really using the inner thigh and the outer thigh. And I want that because that is my lateral support system. The outer thigh and the obliques here, this is my lateral support system. Do not fall over to the side. So that is really, really important. So these are just a couple of small things. I have to do a totally different show and another one on all these things just to practice at home. But start with this leg strength and start with these balance exercises. I will do it again and I have to add on a lot more, but I've been talking so much. And then I want you to, just for flexibility, I just want you to stretch out and bend to it. So you can feel that you can take a couple of good deep stretches, right? And around the corner looking behind you, on the back seat of your car, and around the corner. We really want to get that upper body flexibility in there. And I'll do it on the chair. And there's many, many, many videos that I have on it so that you can do the same things for leg strength on the chair and that you can do the same things for flexibility on the chair. So we have to look at what we can do for ourselves to twist and to twist, even if we're sitting down. And if we're sitting down, that is not so complicated because when I sit down, I can actually help myself by moving around the corner and helping myself push off a little bit on the chair. So my friends, oh my gosh, I wish we had hours. I can go for hours. So for that, it's a good start. Try a few things out this week. And then next week we have face yoga with Marie. So I'm so excited about that. Why don't I go in the week after and keep going on this part too? Right? So we do a lot of sitting stuff too that you can do in the chair, even if you have a hard time getting up, just for leg strength and for flexibility. And that's what we're talking about, strength and balance and flexibility. So important in our amazing lives, but we have to work preventative. So call me, reach out, www. Elian Haan, my name in the corner, my name show, elianhaan.com is also on the listing in the shows. Find me online. Find me, and then you can fill out a form if you have problems, if you want to set up a session for pain management, or if you want to know more about exercises that you can do at home, or if you have lower back pain, or if you are addicted to opioids and you want to stop that. We can help. I have a lot of people here around me. We can all help. If you want to advise because you're just stuck, and you're just stuck in your anxiety and depression and you want some advice moving forwards as a life coach, I can help with that. So reach out, www.alienhaan.com, And the same links to Facebook and to YouTube and to all that social media stuff are on my website. So you just have to click on it and then you see those movement videos all come up. I love to be with you. Thank you so much for today. I will see you next week and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, a joyful one. Thank you for watching ELIAN'S Joy.